What do you make of this, Andrew?
Well, the way you build a criminal case is sort of brick by brick. And this is such a natural piece of a January 6th case. You have somebody who's going to be, as the clip you just played showed, a really good witness for the government. And he's going to be factual. He's going to talk about, as a Republican appointed by Donald Trump, giving facts, saying there was no fraud in the election. And on the other side, there are no facts. So it's just a wonderful example. So you can add it to Raffensperger, you can add it to Pence, you can add it to the president seeking to get rid of Jeff Rosen, the acting attorney general, and replace him with Jeff Clark. It's all of a piece. So this is one really good building block. And when you sort of give that litany, you sort of go, this is going to be quite a hefty wall. I mean, this is a lot of evidence.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, of course, there's no indication that Jack Smith plans to charge Donald Trump on January 6th related crimes. But should he arrive at that determination, you can almost imagine these lifelong Republican Trump appointees like Brad Raffensperger, who said, I voted for Trump, I worked for him to win, I wish he had won, but when he didn't, I couldn't find 11,780 votes. Chris Krebs, same thing. I was a political appointee in the Trump administration. I went through the Trump personnel office, but it was my job to make sure the election was secure.
Because guess what? People act out of principle. Republicans can act out of principle, Democrats can act out of principle, and that's exactly what Donald Trump is going to be accused of not acting out of principle, or as he famously said to Mike Pence, you're too honest. So this is a really good building block, and, I would strongly suspect that they're looking to see that Chris Krebs can be a sort of very good government witness, because he's going to be so factual and so in the weeds. His job was looking at the election. So the clip you played is going to be backed up by lots of data that he can play out to the jury, and there isn't going to be anything on the other side.
Right. I mean, it seems that what 7 years of covering Mueller and 2 impeachments and trying to understand the failed efforts to hold Trump accountable, there's always this sort of last link of understanding his intentions. And it seems that a crush of witnesses like Bill Barr, who says, I told him it was bullshit, like Chris Krebs, who says, I told him it was the most secure election in history, like the campaign manager, Bill Stepien, who says, yeah, I went in and told him he lost, the data guy who goes in and shows him the counties where he underperformed. I mean, it seems like what anyone seeking to prove his intentionality has to do is find all these people who are interacted directly with Trump and told him the truth.
That's exactly right. So Jack Smith is investigating this concerted effort by Donald Trump to basically hijack the January 6th election. And that has 2 big prongs to it. One is cockamamie legal theories that Trump advanced, and we've talked about those ad nauseum. The other is insane personnel decisions, getting rid of the people who actually tell the truth and putting in people like, Rudy Giuliani into positions of power and things like that. And so what Smith is doing here is he's trying to get under the hood, as you said at the outset, by looking at these personnel decisions, trying to understand, why did you fire this good guy? I mean, Bill Barr famously said that this was a clown show of people on who Trump had as personnel for January 6th. And look, Bill Barr knows a lot about clown shows. And so, so that's what I think Smith is doing, is trying to figure out, why is it in the world that you would get rid of the one guy who actually talks sense? You just played the clip. He doesn't sound like your typical Trump person. He sounds like someone who's just plays it straight. Here's what it is. And that's exactly what Trump's problem was.
Well, the elephant in the room is that in 2016, the Biden administration had to turn to the Department of Homeland Security and other national security agencies and communicate to leaders on the Hill that Russia had interfered in that election. So the mission was born out of a national security imperative, really from the last presidential contest. So it seems to cut both ways, toward Trump's intention to overturn a defeat and Trump's indifference about what Chris Krebs, I think, would say his real mission was protecting U.S. elections from foreign interference.
100%. The government from 2016 to 20 was doing exactly what you want them to do, which is uncover these kinds of Russian and other interferences, figure out countermeasures and the like. And what Chris Krebs says 2 weeks after the election is, we did it, we succeeded, we got it right. And that, Trump then fires him, talks about, Hugo Chavez and all sorts of nonsense in order to try and build narrative. And we unfortunately saw the tragic consequences of that narrative on January 6th.
What do you think the real truth is about the proportionality of time and effort between the two prongs of Jack Smith's mission, the Mar-a-Lago documents investigation and January 6th?
Well, there's no question that the January 6th case, I think it will be brought, and I think it will be extremely strong for the reasons we've discussed. It is just more complicated because it's just so much bigger. We've talked about what's happening in the White House with Pence. We talked about what's happening at DOJ. There's all the different state pieces. There's the Chris Krebs piece. There's just a lot
Sprawling.
of exactly. And I somewhat disagree with the Attorney General when he said this is the most massive investigation we've ever undertaken. I mean, this isn't. It's just that it's big, but it's not terribly complicated. And the evidence, this is the kind of case when you're a prosecutor, you sort of are like dying for this because there's just so much proof. Mar-a-Lago is just a much more discrete set of facts. You still have to tie everything down. You would interview all the witnesses. But that is one where, if I were a betting man and, since I have to answer these kinds of questions, I would say Mar-a-Lago is going to go first. And that seems to me, I hate to use the phrase because I know Fani Willis has used it, but that does seem imminent to me. And I think that Jack Smith will feel a lot of pressure to bring it, but not because he wants to rush it, but I think that the American people are entitled to know the answer to whether a candidate for office has committed both state and federal crimes. And so I think Jack Smith will feel that pressure. I think any judge who gets this case will feel a pressure to bring that to fruition as fast as possible, consistent with due process, meaning that Donald Trump, like any defendant, is going to be given time to prepare and make motions, but not, drag things out ad nauseum as is his wont.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree with that, but just put it in more simple terms. Mar-a-Lago is really easy. Trump stole some stuff. He then lied about stealing some stuff. And then they, moved the stuff when investigators came. That is all the prosecution is. That's not that different than government prosecuting other people for stealing stuff. And indeed, if it were anyone else, this guy would have been indicted a long, long time ago. That makes this an easy case. It makes it a case. Andrew talks about pressure to indict. I wouldn't say that. I would just say it's basically, as a prosecutor looking at this and you ask, was the law violated? And is this the kind of traditional thing we would prosecute? Every day of every week we would. And that's just if it were stolen property. When you add onto it the national security dimension, the people have given their lives for the kind of material that Trump's, holding in his social club.
To this day.
Yeah. When you add all of that, it makes it, to me, virtually impossible not to indict this case for that reason.
And isn't there an aspect where you bring the case when it's ready? And there's just a sense from the outside that one may be more mature?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember in Enron being at a meeting when the then acting attorney general defended us and said, you know what, the Enron task force is going to bring the cases it's going to bring is when they tell us they're ready, because there's nothing worse than bringing a case before it's ready. And I know that a lot of people are impatient and thinking, why hasn't this happened? Remember, you want the case to succeed if you bring it. You want to convince a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And while I agree with Neil, certainly Mar-a-Lago is, I won't say easy, because I don't really think any criminal case is easy because the burden is so high and you want to tie everything down. But I do think that's one where it can be ready. And we're seeing all the signs that Jack Smith is doing exactly what he is trained to do, which is to really lock everything in so that he can win the case beyond a reasonable doubt unanimously. And we're essentially just waiting to see when that's brought.